Welcome, welcome, welcome to the making of a female CEO. Most of us only see the Instagram CEO. This show is about grit, the falls, the bumps, the bruises, and the perseverance through those obstacles. This is the raw interview of the fires that you have or are walking through. Today's guest is Dr. Felicia Froh, MD, the owner of Money with Mission, an investment company focused on empowering professional women to build wealth and achieve financial freedom through social impact investing. As a real estate syndicator, Felicia has partnered with like-minded investors and has raised money for several social impact projects, including a residential assisted living home care facility in Kansas City, Missouri, focusing on providing elderly residents experiencing memory problems with personalized care. With her partners at Eco Alliance Group, she's provided healthy food to food desert areas with indoor vertical farms and grocery stores. So you can already start to see a lot of similarities with Eversmart City. In addition to real estate investing, Dr. Froh is a licensed urological surgeon with over 20 years of experience. She's written many best-selling books, including How to Create Wealth That Outlives You. Plus, she's an advocate for sharing the great work others are doing for the community through her podcast, Money with Mission podcast. Dr. Felicia Froh, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sophia. I'm excited. Sorry for the green screen, y'all, but it's raw, right? Couldn't get that to go.
Yes, it is raw, and this is how we do it, and this is what it looks like when it is working. So yes. So, and it's so perfect, so excited. And Dr. Froh and I were having discussions about how, like as women, like we all have to be put together and camera ready and everything's got to be perfect and technology's got to flow. And I'm like, that is not how it goes. People just see that
Yep.
and women just see that. And it's like, no, when it works like that, fantastic. It's just not always
But
go
that's
that
not what
way.
it's like, right? That's not what it looks like. Like
No,
I
that's
get into
not
this
life.
interview and I see, oh, I'm in the wrong chair. I shouldn't be seeing all this back of the chair, but this is what we're doing.
Right? Like there's how you look in real life, and then there's like your Zoom clothes that have to look like you're not naked, right? But like in real life, you'd look fantastic, but on Zoom, you look like and you got to worry about the colors because of the backgrounds, and am I, disappearing, and I can't move. I can only tilt my head this way. Yeah, see, and then my hair disappears if I go that way. Like, so much fun stuff. So thanks for rolling with all this. So overachiever, like so many of the amazing women that we have on this lovely show. So let's just start talking about you've got so many different points of intersection that and you and I would discuss that. We have lots of opportunities to collaborate. And so first off, let's talk about you being a doctor and specifically being a doctor in your area and study, and then going, and then like that's an accomplishment on its own, and yet you still look at that and be that, and then you take it to the next level and become an entrepreneur, and you print books, and you publish books, and then you go into and help women, and then you start doing social impacting. So let's talk about your journey and how all of that unfolded.
It's so interesting because I look at my life and I think I've done stuff, but it's not that special. And then you hear somebody else talk about what you've done, or you hear somebody else talking about, man, you're amazing. And you're like, it doesn't feel that amazing because we know all the steps we've taken and the journey that there's been. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but started medical school after high school. And it was a, a little bit of a shift because I really wanted to go to veterinary school. And my dad told me no, that I should go to medical school if I was going to be in school that long. So I went to medical school. Um, College was hard for me. High school was very, very easy. I didn't really study. It was just one of those things that seemed easy. College, different story. Got in there, really struggled, and ultimately decided to leave college and go leave pre-med and go to pharmacy school because I thought I could have a life and a family and all the things I really, really wanted in addition to a career. Pharmacy school for 2 years was boring. It's like I can't imagine myself doing this for the rest of my life. So went back into pre-med, got into medical school, Thought I was going to be a pediatrician or a family practice, found those to be extremely boring due to the chronicity of diseases and things that never seem to get better. Ultimately found urology as a specialty where it's a combination of surgery and office medical practice. So people did get better overall. the the weird part of it, it was mostly men. So many people told me I would never get in because I was a woman. This was back in 93. At that time, there were only 100 female urologists in the country. I did get into my program and ultimately became a urologist for now over 25 years, which seems crazy to me. And about 5 years in, maybe a little less than 5 years in, I realized that medicine wasn't going to be the last thing I would ever do. And then just that was very scary, of course. I just spent all this time and money going to medical school, becoming a physician, and I'm now doing that, but it wasn't filling. It took a long time for me to really realize where I really wanted to be. And medicine has been a part of that path. I needed that to help me get to where I am today. Started doing real estate investing back in 2004 after I met several women who were doing it and they helped me get started. Lost everything in 2008, restarted in 2011, really found my footing when I found out about and learned about residential assisted living and the impact it can have on families and seniors. Then got in with a group doing this grocery store, and it's just been social impact, making a difference is what really fills me up, and helping women realize they can do more than um they can be more. I don't even know if that's the right thing, but actually what I really want to do is help women, particularly women physicians, because I've been in that group, realize that multiple streams of income is the way to live your life so that you have options in what you want to do. So
Well said. Like that's in every area of life. Like that's women's financial sovereignty right there. And like being able to have options. That's really what it's about, right? Like when women are financially solvent, that's what it provides is
yes,
options.
yes, which
And
is
you can move
key to me.
through.
I mean, many of us love our whatever job we're doing, whatever thing we're doing and putting out in the world, we love it. But there may come a time when you don't, or comes a time when you can't because of whatever. And having that other income, being financially free, even if you're doing something that is a W-2 income, is key to being able to take care of what you need to. It just decreases your stress. To me, you breathe better when you know that things are taken care of.
Yeah, and this is so important what you're saying because you're in this prominent industry, a position of prominence, right? And yet you recognize, like, I love what I do. I'm, groundbreaking that you got into it when you did and where you are now, still, unfortunately, still groundbreaking. And yet you recognize that you may not always want to do that, or technology is going to catch up, AI is going to catch up. There's a lot of and that's something that's massive, that technologies catch up and a lot of these jobs are going to be obsolete, so
Yep,
making sure that you have those options, and
yep,
that you can as a doctor, you're right. You have a job. You have to show up to get income from that.
yep,
So your other sources allow you to make money in your sleep, right? Like when
yep,
you're an author, you make money all the time. So, and it also provides you a platform for speaking and all these wonderful things. So
yeah.
you spoke a little bit about how, how rare it is for your specific part in your industry, and then, and making the transition at least to supplement what you're doing with entrepreneurship. So let's talk about some of the fires and the trials that you've experienced, whether on both sides would actually be really great. Because I think it's important for women to hear that, you can still be in what you're doing and make that transition, and not fully go into your entrepreneurship. Like you're balancing both.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of those fires.
I'll talk about that fire first because my ultimate goal is to not do medicine, and I left medicine a couple of years ago. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I think now, maybe a year and a half ago now, and I thought I had a good long runway financially to be able to last out 2 years, get my business built up, and do all the things I wanted to do. Didn't work out. my mom lived with me. She had lots of care needs. She did not have her own financial means, so my money went to helping take care of her. Um, I'm still working to build my business, but I realized I had to go back and continue doing urology part-time so that I could keep feeding myself and taking care of my mom. So, that was hard. It really was hard because I was like, "Oh, man, I thought I really had it. I thought I had figured it all out. I was gonna be on the run. I'm just running down this runway, ready to take off on this business, and then, oh, shoot, I have to still keep doing urology just to be able to feed myself while I'm still building my business." So that that pivot was a little bit of a challenge for me and has been a challenge. Other fires, other just really hard things. You're trying to do something or you're doing something that other people don't think you should or don't think you really can, and you have that all that negativity coming in at you. I had when I was ready to leave medicine, I had people telling me or other physicians telling me, "What are you doing? You're a doctor. You can't do anything else." So you have to overcome that kind of thing in your head. Um, what other kind of things? I think most of my fires, it feels like have been in my head and trying to figure out what I really want to do. Oh, here we go. Actually, this is my third time actually quitting medicine. First time I left my practice. I had a private practice, left that practice to go do intermittent while my husband was building our real estate portfolio. We had a bunch of properties and he was getting those all rent ready, blah, blah, blah. 2008 came and that's how we lost everything because we just didn't have enough capital to keep things going, which also dumped me back into medicine. So there's been if this getting into real estate investing, getting to social impact full time has been a road. It's been over 10 years that I've been working on this, still working on it, but it's the thing that I'm supposed to do. It feels like the thing that I'm supposed to do. And I can tell you right now, Sophia, that there are days when I wake up and I think, what the heck am I doing? It's so much easier and it's just so much easier if if I could just like urology and just keep doing that. I mean, I could do that. Why do you want to do this whole other thing? It's like, well, because that's what's in me. That's what I got to do. So I sit here at my computer
That
and
is so entrepreneurship is a calling and it just does not stay silent. You try to deny it and you're miserable, right?
it
Like it
is
just
it is
yeah.
an emotional thing that when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it is, and you can push it down, push it down, push it down, then you start getting sick and you're wondering what the heck is going on, and you're coming to doctors like me and we're telling you, giving you pills, and you're not living your life. It's just
When
that
all it
you're
is if
not
you would
living your
just be
life.
your natural expression, yeah,
Yes.
and just stop resisting. So you hit on 2 points. So that is perfect. So what do you do when you get off purpose? Like, what is that one tool that you grab onto that's in your tool chest? And you're like, when I get off purpose and that voice starts winning, like that, that devil on that one, on that one
Mhm.
shoulder starts winning, and I start hearing that radio station in my head. What's that tool that you reach for that gets you through?
That's a great question, and I think it's my stubbornness, my obstinance, and I hear all the people telling me that I'm gonna fail, even if they don't say it directly like that, and I think, "No, they're not gonna win. That they are not going to win. I This is what I'm supposed to do, and this is what I'm going to do. No, this road is not straight. There's a whole bunch of curves in this whole thing, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna be where I need to be at the end of the road." So I don't know, and right now, I have a good group of people with me and around me. My network is really, really good right now. Like most, maybe everybody didn't have this problem, but during COVID, I just like isolated and felt like I was all alone in the world. But now I've got a really good network that's not going to let me sit back. I mean, I think they fully understand what it takes for me to do what I need to do, what my own personality needs. And when I start looking lazy, air quote lazy, so you're gonna do what all those people said, you're gonna fail like all those people said you're gonna fail. I'm like, oh, fuck. Excuse my language, ladies.
And
Yeah,
this is real,
I'm
real
going.
talk. That is so perfect. So 2 things I heard. So one is your why. Like, and even if your why is, I will never let them win. They are never going to win. Like like right? So that's your
Yeah.
why, right? And your why is what gets you through, around, over, under any obstacle. So I hear that loud and clear. And your second tool that I hear is that you build your tribe such that they remind you who you are
Yep.
and they know your hot button. Like they know, oh, so you're going to let them win today. And you're like, wait a minute. I did not say that. No. And then you get right back in there.
Yep.
So I think that's awesome to do that. And did you ever read that book? Let's see, which book am I thinking of with the mastermind? It was Dale Carnegie's book. And what was it called? It's not How to Win
Seven
Friends and
the
Influence People.
7
It's the
Habits?
other one.
Is it 7 Habits?
Oh, that's Covey.
Uh,
I don't know why it escapes me. I mean, I can see the whole book.
yeah.
I read it every year, but but it talks about like you've got to have that mastermind, that tribe around you that's constantly feeding the other angel, right, on the other
Yeah.
shoulder, and
Yep.
that's reminding you who you are and what your purpose is, and gets you up in there. So
And
that's those great things. So you also
real
mentioned, I want to touch back on the go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, there really needs to be a place where you feel safe, so you can,
Yeah.
be raw and be who you are and cry with these people and just have all of those things that you need to be able to be yourself and not your full face, "I'm ready to go" entrepreneur self. They gotta be able to
Yeah.
see you naked, um, just like this, right?
Yep. Yeah. And so you know that you're accepted,
Yep,
and they see that version of yourself that you can be, especially when you can't see it yourself,
exactly. Yep,
and they call you to be that. And you step into their vision of you when they hold that space for you when you can't, and you
exactly.
can just walk into it. So I agree.
Exactly,
So you brought
exactly.
up this other point, and this is one thing that I say I don't even have to bring this up because it is something common. So on your travels, especially being an entrepreneur, especially coming from a prestigious place, which most people are like, when they're little, they're like, what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor when I grow up because it's this prestigious thing, right? So coming from that and making this transition to your self-expression as an entrepreneur and hearing the people that you respect, whose input you value, your peers, your friends, family, you know who is it? Like, what you're talking about is like these are people that you love, respect, value, and they're a no
Yeah,
for your growth.
yeah.
And so who's somebody that like really surprised you and you were just like, wait, what? Like who surprised you when you were like announcing this transition? Like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my who I am. This was why I was put here. This is my purpose. And there was a pushback.
Yeah, it
What
was
was
my
that
mom.
surprise?
It was my mom, and, that was the first time I was telling her about it, and I was telling her, and she goes, "No, you shouldn't do that. You need to you've done all this work, you can stay in medicine, you're good at it, blah, 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 blah." And then I just stopped talking to her about that kind of thing. It's like, "Okay, this is you don't understand. You see me." Over time, I realized that it was, her fear for me and failure, and I got that. Ultimately, within the last couple of years, shortly before she died, she understood. She goes, "Oh, I get it. This is this is what you're I get it. You didn't explain it to me well. That's what you just didn't explain it to me well. Why you wanted to not be in medicine. You didn't I just didn't understand." But once she understood it, she was all on board. So I don't know if your loved ones, your most prized people who you need to be behind you when you first start on the thing, on your journey, if the explanation I walked in there all excited and telling her what I wanted to do and how I wanted it, and she just didn't understand why I wanted to leave this other thing. And that was the part that she needed to be able to really fully be behind me. I didn't get that for several years, but now I get it. Other people are much more neutral, who I thought would be more go, yeah, you can do this. My sisters are much more neutral about it. They're just like, we don't understand what you're doing, but okay. kind of thing.
Got it. So that's important for, I think, for people to hear, because we think that our biggest, sometimes our biggest fans, and it's out of love, right? Like
Yeah,
it's out of love when they
yeah,
show resistance to transitioning, because you're going on skinny branches and they're like, you're doing amazing here. Why would you change that, right? And you're mostly hearing people's concerns for themselves, like they wouldn't take that risk
yes.
or go that route. So let's do this question that I love to kind of like end with, and it is, what is your secret to happiness?
Um, I don't know if it's that much of a secret. It's a challenge. It is working very, very hard to enjoy where I am and not project why I'm not somewhere else. In other words, here it is, not comparing myself to somebody else, even if I'm comparing myself to who I want to be in the future. It is, this is who you are today, and enjoy this place, because next time it might not be as much fun, even though now doesn't look like fun. Is very, I think I talk about that, and I look at my old pictures when I thought I was fat, and I look at my pictures of myself like, oh my gosh, can I look like that again?
It that always So this leads me to my follow-up question. What would you tell your younger self?
Oh my gosh. The say I have 2 daughters, 27 and 30, and the things that I'm saying to them are what I would say to myself at that very age is, so much of what we worry about does not matter. It is of no consequence to your future. Stop worrying about it. Enjoy where, just what we talked about. Enjoy where you are, and the rest will take care of itself. I have one, actually both of them worry about things that are just that I can see, and I'm sure my mom saw and my dad saw in me, that you're just like, stop worrying about that. When you turn that in one, at some point will not even be a blip on your radar. Let it not be a blip on your radar right now. So that's the main thing. Stop. Oh, and specifically, stop caring what other people think so much, because that's a big one for me. If they don't think how what you think is right, or you have a plan and somebody's giving you the, go with your gut feeling on that one. Stop listening to other people and what they think.
And that's a huge gift that I think is a blessing with age, at least for me. The older I get, the more like comfortable and sexy I feel being a woman in my own skin suit, right? Because
Yep.
it's just like, well, what that is the quicker we can like learn to let go of other people's perceptions, because that's not our business, right? Like that's their business,
Yep.
and that's mostly a reflection of their shortcomings and what they're dealing with anyways. And the more that we can embrace and love who we are, right? Like
Yep.
and what our purpose is, and focus on that. Yeah. All right, so last question. So I know you have two daughters, and I know you were talking about them, and you were sharing, what you tell them is what basically you're having a conversation with your younger self. I hope you tell them that they're skinny now, and that they should remember. You look amazing now. Remember that. So, in addition to that, and you also have an offer that I know and we were going to put out too, and I'll have you talk about it. In addition to that, what would you like to share with the audience? Like, what would you like to impart upon them?
The biggest thing for me is that making changes is very scary. Living your life, and I'm going to use the word small, but people aren't always living small, but you're living the life that you're living, and you feel something different. You feel like you should be doing something different. It's a scary thing. Um, Religion, spirituality, whatever, just trust that that feeling is real, and that when you take that step in that direction, you will be supported, and you'll get there. You may not get there the way you think you will or you think you should, um, but you will. Keep going forward. I just had a experience another fire not too long ago. The process was very painful, and getting out of this deal was very painful. But the ultimate goal was to get out of the deal. Um, the end result worked. The process was painful, and for some reason, I keep thinking about the damn process. But people keep reminding me, but what did you want? You wanted to get here, and you're here. So let the process go. You're here. So Another part of happiness, though, is enjoying the process. So it's a hard thing. Things are hard. It is difficult to get to where you want to go unless you're relaxed and realize that everything that's happening is what's supposed to be happening for your own growth, for your own determination, and to be able to be the person you need to be when you get to where you're supposed to go. That was a lot. Sorry.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think a lot of people can take away so much from that. Uh, and a reminder to people, it's in that journey, it's in what we would consider our challenges or struggles, whatever you want to call it. That's where the growth is.
Yep.
In times of elated, joy and elateness, like those are beautiful. There's no growth happening there though.
I just
And that's
listened
how
to.
diamonds are made,
Yep.
under tremendous pressure,
Pressure.
pearls, like
Pressure.
all of
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
So
I
it's
listened
good
to a
stuff.
Grant Cardone, video talking about being courageous, and he talked about, I think the interviewer asked him, "When do you ever not have fear?" And he goes, "Well, if I'm doing something big, I have fear, and that's how you have courage. If you have no fear, it's not courage. You just did something. If you're afraid when you're about to do it and you do it anyway, that's courage. So have courage, be strong, go forward."
Mm, there you go. All right, so you have an offer for them. You want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, I wrote a book, "How to Create Wealth That Outlives You," and it's talking about what we started out a little bit and have glanced upon is passive investing in real estate, and it is for every busy, busy, busy woman. I'm so busy doing what I do. Oh my God, you want me to invest in real estate too? Passive means your only job is to send your money out to do the work for you. You get to know the person who's going to invest and invest the money and what they're investing in, a little bit of work, but when you trust and know and like that person, you don't feel so bad. Here's the money, go make it grow, send it back to me with a whole bunch of friends. That's passive. You're sleeping, you're doing your thing, and money's just coming. So that's how you create wealth that outlives you. Um, there you can go to Legacy at Money with Mission, say send it to me, and you will get that ebook.
Thank you so much. So, Felicia, Dr. Fro, thank you just so much for the work that you do with empowering professional women by your free gift that you've offered our listeners, what you do in real estate, what you do with your social impact as a doctor in the medical field, for pioneering, and just for all the people that you've helped and whose lives you've improved, for everything that you do in the food deserts to improve the quality and to ensure that people have a basic need of food, just making sure that they have that. And for so many things in people's lives whom you'll never even know that you touched with your written words and your published books. Just thank you so much for coming and being on our show. And we wish you absolutely the best.
Thank you so much, Sophia. I had a good time. Bye, everybody.